Morning guys, John Koah Spearguns. I hope you enjoy the upcoming footage. It's more than interesting. I just wanted to add a little bit of context to what we did in that video. Something I didn't mention. So when I talk about range, for example, in the video you'll see, the 48 standard fatback typically shoots between 14 and 16 feet depending on bands. That's point to point. So when I say point to point, that means straight line shot, hitting your fish, hitting your target. In this video we are shooting spear guns at an angle with a jig to control the angle, to have the same angle with every single shot. So that obviously is adding a lot of range. If we were to shoot the same spear gun underwater with the same jig, yes, the range would be different, but it wouldn't be anywhere close to how far they are going in this video. So I hope you enjoy the footage. Mainly, the main thing to take from this footage is A, don't recreate the experiment we did, and two, it just goes to show the danger of spear guns being dry fired outside of water, how powerful they really are. So I hope you enjoy the vid. Stay tuned. Hey guys, John Koah Spearguns here out in the middle of nowhere to answer a question that I get asked about 40-50 times a year, which is how powerful is a spear gun outside of water? You guys have all seen in movies where they take like a revolver and shoot it into a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket, and the bullet doesn't go through the bucket because of the resistance of water. Well, we're going to show you the same thing, just how powerful these are outside of water. And the main purpose of this video really is education, curiosity, but and mainly safety. We want to show you just how dangerous these things can be outside of water and what they are capable of in terms of what they shoot in water and what we're getting out of them distance-wise in the most controlled environment we can outside of water. And the way we did that was we spent a few $100 and we built a jig that's going to create the same angle for each spear gun. And we're going to go through the gambit of our models, which is a 38 shorty, which is 38-inch stock, 48 standard fatback, which is a 3-band gun with a 5/16 shaft, a 110 Euro, which is a 52-inch stock with a 9/32 shaft, 2 bands, to a 57 fatback, which is a little more powerful, and then you have finally a blue water model. If we have time, maybe I have my spear gun in the truck, so maybe we'll shoot my roller, my 55 mid-plus roller, just to show you the differences in the ranges we get out of these. So I also brought oil with me to lubricate the track, because in water, the water actually does act as a lubricant around the track, which allows the shaft to fly further. So we want to create as much of an equal environment as we could for both. All right, so first what we're going to do is we're going to start with the 38 shorty. We're going to see what kind of range we get out of this. And like I said, this is just a 2-band 5/16 shaft, 40-inch shaft. So it's a lighter shaft, but not as much power and stretch behind it. So I'm not expecting a lot out of this. So let's see what happens when we load this guy up and set it up. So obviously loaded it up, 2 bands, and in our jig we have a handle holder to eat the recoil, and then we have a centerline vise which holds it very, very tight. On 3, 1, 2. On 3, 1, 2. Woo! That was a lot farther than I thought. So here's how we're going to measure. I downloaded this cool tape measure app, and I literally just click at the front of this and walk, and when we get to the shaft it'll tell us how far it went. So let's start. go. The 38 shorty. Okay, so the 38 shorty, like I said before, underwater range, somewhere between 10 and 12 feet. James, how far do you think it went? James?
50.
50? How about you, Danny?
Say like 65.
65, 130 feet. So 130 feet dry fire with the 2 bands and factory power dry fire. That just shows the range difference. So now, well, forgive me for being so sweaty, but it's ultra hot out here and it's a lot of work getting this all set up. So yeah, we're gonna be sweating a lot. So for reference, that was the 48 or the 38 shorty, which shoots about 10 to 12 feet underwater. Dry fired, just shot 129 feet. That's just for reference. Now this is the 48 standard fatback. The 48 standard fatback shoots between 14 and 16 feet underwater. We're gonna see what it does dry firing. Safety on. This is gonna have some punch. Into the jig. My wrench, there it is. Got the wrench. Lock it in, put the safety device on, backup safety. Okay. Oh, I have no idea how far this is gonna go. It's gonna be hard to find, I know that. 3, 2. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. Okay, that was,
Yep.
All right, so now we're gonna go hunt down the 48 standard fatback shaft. So, the 48 standard fatback. James, how far do you think it went?
200?
It's definitely more than 130. Okay. It's 200. How about you, Danny?
I'd say 220.
220? Not bad. 263 feet. 48 standard fatback, which is about 14 to 16 feet underwater range. Shoots 263 feet out of the water. So that's a dry fire shot. All right. So we changed our game plan here a little bit for the measuring because it's so tricky to measure these. So what we're doing is we're finding the shafts and we're putting them in the sand straight up and down so we can measure them all at the same time and you guys can see the distance and the difference between each spear gun. So up next is the 110, which is a 52-inch stock, 9/32 shaft Euro. Now the Euro is a 2-band 5/8 diameter gun, but this is a 9/32 shaft, so it might have a different trajectory because it is a lighter shaft. So let's see what happens. Safety. Oh yeah. This is gonna fly. It does. Take the safety off. And 3, 2. Holy cow. That went past the 48. You see that? All right, let's go check it out. Well, we're gonna go find the shaft. Like I said, change of plan. We're gonna go find the shaft, put it in the sand, and at the end of this, you'll see all the measurements. Just gotta get a close up of this. So I just wanted to show you guys how cool this is. We ended up lawn darting this one. So this was the 110 Euro. About 15 feet behind us is the 48. That's the 48 fatback. Now, interesting fact, all these shots being dry fired off a jig are all landing in the center within 2 feet of each other. That's a pretty impressive cluster. But this one, holy cow. You ever shoot a grouper in the head and can't get the shaft out? This is the same thing. So this is where we're gonna pull the shaft out, that one shaft that actually hit a root, God knows how. We're going to hook the truck up to it and back it out because we tried everything, we cannot get it out. So this will be interesting.
the sharp end. That's the point.
That's the threaded tip. Look at that. Threaded tip went into a root. That's some serious power. Went into a root by the color of the shaft and the discoloration, about 4 inches into the root. That's crazy. How far do you think, James? That was 263. 263, that's about another 30 feet. 290. Close.
285.
He's the winner. 286. So 286 feet with a 110 Euro, which the underwater range is about 16 to 18 feet, depending on bands. So that's pretty, that one impressed me. And that's really the difference was 9/32 shaft, lighter shaft, and the 2/5/8 band. Next up is the 58 standard fatback. So we'll get this guy going. Two and 3. Put it in. All right, 57 standard fatback, 3/5/8 bands, 5/16 shaft. On 3. 3, 2, 1. Much better. Oh! All right. So the 57 standard fatback, what do you think, James?
Another 30 feet, 35 feet.
Yeah, that one was 286. What do you think? That one, the last one was 286. So this one, what do you think this one is?
310.
Close. How about you, Danny?
320.
316. So 57 standard fatback, which has a range of about 18 to 19 feet underwater, shoots 316 feet dry fire. All right, so that was the 57 fatback. That one, the range is somewhere between 18 and 20 feet. So obviously it shot way further than that, dry firing. So up next, grand finale, the big boy, 68 mid plus blue water. So this should be really interesting. Let's see, is that coming through? Yeah. All right, last one shooting. This is the 68 standard blue water, mid plus. 5/16 shaft, 68 inch stock, 4 5/8 bands. I think we're good. On fire. And 3, 2. Oh, Jesus. Just that the truck is where it's coming from, just to show you reference point. So now we're going to move on to the blue water. The blue water went slightly to the right, and the problem is all this brush, we had a hard time finding it, but we did see it landed around these tire tracks up here, and it was somewhere between these tire tracks and the next set of tire tracks. So we just put it in the middle. We're going to give you a guesstimate. We spent 45 minutes trying to find the shaft, so we're just going to give you a guesstimate. And if you guys put in the comments you want to see another video, maybe we'll do a part 2 with the blue water standard, mid plus, and then a twin R or something like that, just to give you some relevance. So let's go see where the blue water landed. Right about, this is in between the 2 sets of tire tracks I was talking about. So like I said, it's really hard to tell because it went slightly to the right. We spent a long time trying to find the shaft, but there's so much brush here and you're trying to find essentially a needle in a haystack. Very difficult. So out here, let's say at the tire tracks right here, the shorter tire tracks, where do you guys think it's at? How about you, James? That's a long ways.
What was that last one at?
That last one was 316-ish, somewhere around there.
So 400.
Close. How about you, Danny?
470.
470. So we here are at 452 feet. So it's not perfect. This is probably the shorter of the two. It was somewhere between these tire tracks and the next set, but we're gonna say 450 feet for a blue water gun. That's pretty impressive. And they all landed with this much range, within 450 feet, they all landed within 5 feet of each other. So unfortunately, it's a thin road, and with the thin road, if it goes off to the right, if it's off to the left, you need a mulligan because you're in the water. If it's off to the right, you're in the brush. So we did the best we could. Let's go back and wrap this up. All right, guys, that about wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed the video. I surely did. I'm very curious, and that was the point of this video, was curiosity, education, most of all, safety. You see how dangerous these are, how powerful they are. Never ever dry fire your spear gun. We did this in a very controlled environment, and I want to give a huge thanks to Danny. He let us borrow his private land. We're doing this on somebody's land, private land, with a controlled environment, with a jig that's shooting the same angle or close to the same angle with every shot. Not only is it secured in one spot with a very expensive, very strong centerline vise, but we also had a secondary redundant system to prevent kickback. And you know, made sure we take as many precautions as we possibly could to keep it as safe as we possibly could. So please do not replicate this at home. I hope you enjoyed it. Like you saw with this, the blue water spear gun, this thing is meant to shoot somewhere between 26 and 28 feet underwater with the 4 bands. It just shot over 450 feet. That's pretty impressive, and that just shows the power, the true power of these things. And that's not throwing a bullet, that's throwing a probably 16 to 17 ounce shaft. That's a lot to throw something that far. So you can see what these are capable of, and I enjoy seeing what they're capable of. So if you enjoy videos like this, if you want to see maybe a high frame rate or a foots per second video or something along those lines, by all means, put it in the comments, share with your friends. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But until the next video, stay safe out there.